You hearing us now? Okay, he's hearing us now.
Hi, good morning, Doc.
Good morning. So sorry.
No, we can't hear
Now I
Thanks.
him.
can hear him.
Oh boy.
Okay,
Okay, go back to that thing there.
okay. Hey, any luck
Let's
there?
try again. Hello?
Good morning.
Yes, lovely. Okay.
Good morning. Oh boy.
Yes.
It's been a couple minutes, all right,
Okay.
but we're in it. So because we have less time now, it means that we're gonna have to be even more concise than before. All right. So you are born living in Beckway. You would have been living overseas for a couple years, came back here, you said in 2012, but most recently you've been living in Beckway for a year plus. All right.
Yes, that's correct.
All right. So you're also a social entrepreneur and the executive chairman of a non-profit organization, well, non-profit, a Constructive Solutions Inc. So
Correct. That's true.
straight into it, what's happening in Beckway?
Okay. Well, the issue this morning is the first of all, he was assaulted in on Christmas Eve night by two foreign nationals. One um, who is the CEO of the Beckway Marina, and the other a friend of his who was just visiting there. The issue at hand was that I went to him. I was the At that time I was the operations and financial manager of the company, and the staff were complaining quite often about the late payment of their wages and sometimes non-payment, including the service charge, and the fact that he was seen quite often, especially on Christmas Eve night, eating a lot and drinking a lot with his friends. So the staff were very upset that, I mean, this is our Caribbean. Christmas is very special to us, and we are going home without any pay, and these people having a grand time on us. So, I went and I addressed him on it, and then I walked away, and then it was first of all pinned in a building, and then attacked by the same owner. Then and then the other gentleman, then he too attacked me too. So it was say ambushed by the two of them in a building until I had to use a piece of wood to free myself. Actually, after the glass was smashed, then these three people came then and had to pull this guy off of me. He was choking me on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I summoned the police twice. They
Mm-hmm.
responded, and to my surprise, I think we really, if I may use the term, pissed me off more was that you had four policemen responding, and I'm bleeding, I'm injured, and
Mm-hmm.
they did not even make any arrests, even though that they asked me to point out these two people, which I did. They were right there sitting down. One of the guys was at the bar sitting down drinking and smoking his cigar like nothing never happened. There were several witnesses there. The police never even interviewed one single one, took a name, nothing. Um, what I noticed was that the corporal who responded, he went into the same building where they attacked me with the owner of the restaurant for like half hour. So I'm there like, wait, I am the one who called the police. I get attacked, and you in this room with this guy locked in the room forever talking to him, you know. So he came back out then and just gave me a medical paper in my hand and so on. And then I even had to come and call him out because the same guy now at the bar was harassing me. While three police were there standing watching it, and they were doing nothing, right? I had to call out the corporal to say, listen, tell this man stop harassing me. He already attacked me already and he harassing me, tell him to stop. Then, you know, I went to get my medical. And one of the things that had me very thing was that, all right, I'm injured. They come to the scene. Um, they just left me there with the medical. I walking away, and they didn't even offer me a lift to the hospital, which is
Mm-hmm.
next to the police station in Beckway. Then I went. I got my medical. I got checked the night. The nurse dressed my wounds and everything. I was able to see the doctor the next morning, which is Christmas morning. I went to the station with my medical. I submitted it to the corporal, and to my surprise, the corporal was saying like, "Oh, we are tomorrow." which would be like the Boxing Day. We're gonna be busy, so we would deal with this Tuesday or Wednesday next week. I'm like, this man serious, and I left there then. Um, I did a Facebook live because I was furious, to be quite honest, as to how callous that they dealt with my matter, right? And I did a Facebook live, which I understand upset them a lot, and I shared my story on.
The police or the business owners, your former
Well,
colleague.
both of them, both the
Okay.
police and the business owner, both of them. Now, the thing about it, right, is that in using Facebook, because I saw what was happening, I have a great idea of how to deal with things in this country. You have to build awareness around these issues. The issue was not only about the assault, but here you have a number of staff members working at the establishment. They're not being paid on time. I mean, like when I came in there in August, I was trying to correct this problem from then until the very Christmas Eve night. And this was an ongoing problem even from the beginning of this company, right? And I realized then it was deliberate. It wasn't a case that it was just an issue of a financial issue. It was deliberate. This guy just didn't care, And sometimes when I ask him about the staff wages, he would use some of the nastiest terms, basically saying he don't care, and I mean in the real nasty way, not the nice way as they said it, right? And I had to take a firm stand with him because I even told him, listen, I am a Commonwealth civil society advocate, and I will not stand by and let this happen to Vincentian workers and do nothing about it. You all better fix this problem, or I even told them that I would go public with it. If they don't do anything about it, I will report them to the appropriate authorities and so on. And to
Did
show
you do
them
that?
yes, I did. The national insurance scheme was aware that, for example, no NIS was paid from April last year until I think about January, February this year when they intervened finally. I did not, let me be very honest in saying, I did not contact the Labor Department because in my view, from my experiences, to me, it feels like just a waste of your time. And even so, like the number of complaints that they have been having, they have still not even come down to see this man yet. As I speak here, right? All they keep saying, oh, we're looking into it. Oh, we're looking into it. They have not budged to even come and address the staff issues. Today, as we speak, this very moment, this business has been closed about a month now. There are staff, they have not received the wages yet. People, they have not received the service charge for December, not one single dime. They have not received some for February and March. And the Labor Department has not come to deal with this matter at all, right? Now, I went as far as I wrote the Minister of National Security, which is also the Prime Minister, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves. I wrote the Chief Immigration Officer on the matter. Dr. Gonsalves, the Prime Minister, did call me. He called me the next afternoon, and we had a conversation. And he did say he would, he would speak to the Commissioner of Police. Which by the next morning, then I noticed that the sergeant in charge of the station, he had taken over the investigation. And I would say this here, what really floored me about this thing is that when the sergeant interviewed me, he said to me that he was not aware of the seriousness of the matter. And he was told when he questioned the corporal who responded that it was a simple misunderstanding. No, I cannot understand how.
Simple misunderstanding. How does a simple misunderstanding? How do you get to that conclusion? We probably would not be able to answer it, but how do you get to that conclusion when you were, according to you, assaulted, and you assaulted so much that you had blood running from your hands and so on?
Yes, definitely. That, and not only that, I mean, the medical report that I submitted, it clearly stated, the doctor said that she suspects that my ribs might be fractured, and she's requesting an urgent x-ray to determine so. But the problem was because it was a Christmas weekend, I had to wait then until the Tuesday morning to come up to St. Vincent then to be x-rayed. Again, that's another issue because I'm injured since Friday and I can't get an x-ray until Tuesday morning.
You've been in pain the whole time.
Yeah, I could not even walk properly. Every time I stand, my whole side was just in pain, and I couldn't even laugh. I couldn't talk hard. I could not speak hard at all. It was excruciating, and to see that I went through all of that, and I called the police twice. I even had to call back and say, listen, these men attacked me here, bleeding. What was the whole up? And to me, it was like, this isn't a big thing, right?
Quick one, right? You
Yes.
ever gotten any other altercations down in Beckway? Like
Not,
where
no,
you had to call where the police involved before this incident?
not with me directly. No, here's the funny thing. You asked me a good question there. A week or two before this, right? One of
Uh-huh.
my things as a social entrepreneur, I offer assistance to people like in gender-based violence and so on. 2 weeks prior to this incident, I would have worked along with the police confidentially with a matter where I had to provide a client with protective custody in a domestic violence issue. The same police station, same corporal, same sergeant. It
Okay.
is not like a foreign entity, right? So they
Yeah, yeah.
know what I do. They're familiar with me. They have had to come to the restaurant prior to that. Now, let me draw to your attention another incident. There was a call that was made at night to the police by the same owner that a young man stood outside the gate and cursed, used the words F, you know what I mean? Now, four police responded. The same corporal was the senior officer. Now, this young man did not enter the bar in a restaurant. He
You
did
was
not hit.
you were there too.
Yeah, I was on duty that night. Yeah.
Okay.
He did not hit him. He did not in any way at all assault him, right? But four police responded. And I mean, brother, if you see what they did to this young man, that I had to run outside and jump
Oh,
between the corporal and the young man. The corporal actually went for his firearm, right? And I said to myself, I couldn't stop here and let them shoot this young man tonight over two curse words. You understand? And I mean, I'm not saying that the young man, he has some issues, but he did not assault. He didn't enter the premises.
Yeah, you ain't
But
trouble nobody.
right, if you see the manner and how they rough up this boy, the guy had to literally jump in the
and
seat.
you spoke out about it,
Yeah,
considering you said that you entered it and stuff. So
yeah,
so
I
you
did.
feel probably that is why they say, boy, when I've been dealing with something the other day, you come and you interfere with that. So you take away again now.
No. That is not a good way to. Here's the thing,
I
though.
know, but I'm
Yeah,
just saying that's
mhm,
probably how they probably look
they
at it,
look at it.
considering
Good
that
point.
they did not pay any attention to you when you were
Mhm.
in your situation there.
Yeah,
Question
good.
though,
Yes.
having witnessed what happened to another gentleman and how the police responded to that incident, to how they responded to yours, was that one of the reasons that you became infuriated?
Well, the night in question, I was infuriated by the whole assault, and then their response. When I mean, like somebody assault you, you're bleeding. You point out these two men, and they come there like spend 45 minutes with the man that I call him for, and spend 2 minutes with me. Like these people serious. They have not taken any evidence at all. They ain't talked to a single witness. They may take a name of who was there, nothing, right? They spend the majority of their time talking to this owner of the restaurant and in a closed setting, right? Then how they deal with me at the station, telling me about they're busy and next 3 days or 4 days after. The whole entire thing had me infuriated when I sit down and think about the whole entire matter, right? And then when you go to the amount of evidence that I supply the police on this matter, even my statement, right? I personally prepared, typed my statement, delivered it to the station and everything. That they said to me, this is really good. We don't need to add anything to it. All of that they said to me. And still, right? Nothing is being done about it. Absolutely nothing. After the sergeant intervened, they come to me with this thing about there's an issue of witnesses. I gave them every name of every witness who I know was present.
Question though, right? And you spoke about witnesses. Were there any cameras in the area
At the
then?
time, the camera that was on would not have seen inside of the building where it was assaulted. It would have only seen where I went and talked to the owner by the bar. It would have not been able to see in the adjacent building, inside of the building, because that was just a storeroom. That was nothing that was active.
Do you think
No,
they did that on purpose because they know no cameras were inside?
I think that attack was obviously to stop me from speaking on the issue, from You know, he didn't think that I should stand up to him, you know, as being a owner
Because
and a white.
you worked for him, right?
Yes,
You
he
were the
felt that I
operation
should.
and financial officer.
Precisely.
Yeah, and you were saying that. Pardon me.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah, you were also saying that the current issues that you brought forward to him was that there was late payments, persons were having issues on the workplace, and there are some wages issues.
Yeah, they
So
were
you were
No, no, no.
highlighting these to him,
Yeah.
and that's where everything went wrong.
Yeah, and the fact too that not only that they have wage issues, but I mean, if you understand business, you can't have a wage issue and you are there enjoying
Splurging.
yourself. Yeah, you splurging,
Yeah.
not even hidden, right? In the presence of the staff. He's having a grand party, and this Christmas Eve night. That's the thing that really had me feel bad, right? I honestly, I didn't even want to deal with the matter, saying that it was Christmas Eve night.
That's a quick one. Were you being paid during all these time as well?
Good question. I have not received a single dime in salary from these people for 4 months. Not a dime. No, mind you.
You just kept going work?
Understanding, right? When I first went in, right, I honestly wanted to help them resolve the issues. I recognized there was some financial problems. And my first concern, honestly, was to see to it that the staff who were working was paid and everything. And then I could have always been dealt with. In all fairness, you know, I wasn't too... My first priority was not me. Yeah, it was not me. Yeah, it was. I was really concerned about, because remember that these are the single mothers and young men who trying to keep out of trouble and, you know, the find a job, especially with the COVID pandemic. If you would know, in Bequia, business went really down, and it was one of the very few businesses that was open that could offer employment and so on in Bequia, because you know Bequia operations are mostly seasonal. So I considered all of these things rather than my salary alone. I mean, even to now, I have not been paid, and I still keep fighting for the wages of the staff and so on for them.
You think you're gonna get it?
They got some, but
you got some.
I think that no, I don't think so, because I know for a fact that, you know, the financial position of these people. Let me put it like this, right? A lot of these people is coming to our country, and we see them as quote unquote foreign investors. There's no due diligence done on these people to find out who are these people that are coming into our country. Do they even have money? You know? Yeah, have they provided any assets? Like, for example, do you have an account here with X amount of money that could verify that you can operate a business in the country? I find that in this country that these things are not happening. So therefore, you got a man coming into this country, these two men actually that own it, looking like if they got money, but I know as a financial controller that they are broke. And I say this here publicly, and I've challenged them to, you know, put me before the court. I have my evidence that they are flat broke. So they were posing as if they have this money and then taking advantage of the staff of St. Vincent, right?
So you're saying now that the persons who are working, they're not going to get any money because, as you're saying, they're broke. So they ain't going to get any money.
Unless somebody bail them out, they can't. I mean, look at it now. I mean, it's not a secret. The electricity have been off at that and the thing. The Vinlet had to move in on them and cut the electricity off, right? And it still remains off up to today. So I know for sure they can't even pay their utilities. They didn't pay the servicemen, taxi men, and all. You know, there's a lot of issues that I discovered after I went in that was going on. And every day of my job, it was basically paying debts, trying to stop people from, you know.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, well, I remember you said you called the police before. So, you know, if any of the staff did that before as well?
They did after. Well, I know that there were incidents before me, right?
Right.
There was, in the past, there were two. Now, they had brought in these Cuban chefs, and there was the same issue when they asked for their money. They were attacked, and, you know, and they were seriously injured. And here's the funny thing, right? The chef is raising an issue about being paid. He receives a serious gash to his hand, and the police at Port Elizabeth arrest the chef for the night.
For getting the gash?
Yeah. They're not looking at the issue that, look, this man have people here and not paying them. They arrest and they pelt this man through a glass, you know, and they cut to his hand. And instead of they looking to the matter, they're arresting the man who is injured and have not touched the owner of the company.
How many incidents of assault have you witnessed?
For me, it was two eyewitness, one myself and another one. There was one before me and there was one after I left. So there are four, same place, same man.
Okay, so with your issue before the police, when was the last time you went to check up to see how far along they've gotten? And any arrest at all since December 24th to now has been made?
Okay, I spoke to my attorney, contacted the sergeant in charge of the station in February. In March, the sergeant was supposed to give an update at the end of March as to all that they were saying is that the matter is under investigation. Now, I went as far as meeting with the senior assistant superintendent, who is the divisional officer for the Grenadines. I went that far, you know. I met with her and she told me that you know, there was something with the file being sent back and forth and they will make a determination at some point. It was always some issue about witnesses and witnesses and witnesses. There were three persons who went forward and gave a statement, and they told me, this is what the police told me. One has confirmed, yes, they witnessed me, I was assaulted. That's what they told me. Still, they're claiming that there was an issue with witnesses. Now, okay. Now, the last assault that occurred at that location, which was about 3 weeks ago, a lady, a white lady, visiting lady, she was assaulted. She was pushed down and injured. She did not have a single witness to her incident, not even one. This man was arrested for her incident about a week ago. He was arrested and charged at the station and given station bail, right? For her incident that did not have a single witness, nor did she receive any injuries to my degree. She just was pushed down and probably get a bruise or so on from the concrete, right? She wasn't bleeding. She didn't have no ribs damaged, none of that. Even the back of my head was swollen and everything for weeks, you know. I had to go on medication and all of that. And yet they arrested him for her incident. Up to now, they have not done a single arrest for my incident. None. Actually, I
No
feel
charge,
like
no arrest.
no, I feel like a nuisance. The way that they look at me, you know.
So
Another-
so you think racism, sorry, how do I bring it in? But you think is racism how to play in it?
I don't know. It could be, but I see it more as discrimination and bias because, and there's another term that is used as familiarity, right? Now, I know this because I am familiar with police training and so on. And you see, they're always advised not to become familiar with, you know, certain things. Now, I can tell you this, right, that in terms of familiarity, these police, I've seen them more than one time. Even the owner complained to me. They always come to this establishment to get free food to eat and free drinks. So there's an issue there of familiarity, and a lot of people here don't understand the seriousness of that, right? Then obviously there's bias and discrimination. Why do you treat the young man who just used 2 curse words in such a manner, right? Why do you
Can't get nothing from here. I can't get free food from here. So
exactly.
yeah, that's what I mean. Exactly.
Looking now, you're seeing it, you know.
You mentioned that you sent a letter to the Prime Minister
Yes.
about the incident, and he said that. What? Repeat what he told you.
He called me the next afternoon, and you know he asked, you know, he was concerned, actually. He sounded that way, and he asked me some questions, which he said, you know, he has not received any information yet, and he would have to speak to the Commissioner of Police on the incident and get back.
That was when.
That was in March, around March, yeah.
This year.
Yeah, this year, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
remember
That's
Christmas.
yeah.
Christmas that
Because I went up the chain, you know, I went up the chain as
Right.
like even when I went to the immigration office, the chief
So you
immigration
felt like that
officer,
was your next alternative. You couldn't
Yes.
go to nobody else, but
Straight to the big
straight
man.
to the big man.
Straight to
No,
who's
no,
in
no.
charge.
I want to note, right, that, and I wrote him in the capacity of Minister of National Security, not Prime Minister. And
Just
that
so
is
happened that.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
understood.
Yeah.
Where do you think it's gonna go from here?
As far as I see, honestly, I don't think nothing coming out of this. In all honesty to you, right?
Yeah, because you mentioned something. Sorry, you mentioned that NIS was not paid for these
Right.
the workers since last year.
But that was rectified.
But
That
they
was
came in.
Right. Right.
Yes,
That's
when I
earlier
did
this
my
year.
when I did my last post, right?
Mhm.
They came in then because they called me. We had 3 calls, and I was able to share some financial information with them, and I was updated that they actually came in. The people that would not respond is the labor department, and the police would say to you that, oh, they can't do anything unless the labor department intervene. Now, I also want to mention here that Carlos Williams, who is the deputy director of Grenadines Affairs, or the caretaker for Beckway, he also called me, and we have been having several meetings on the matter. And he has assured me that he has made, the matter was went before the cabinet members, and that they are aware what is happening. And I gave him 2 copies of my statement and other information, and he told me that these were forwarded to the level of even cabinet. So you understand, what is happening here, because obviously he understands that this is a very serious matter. You got wages, foreign nationals, foreign investors who not only impaying people but assaulting Vincentians and so on. And then, the negligence where the police to properly deal with this matter. So, I tell people that this is not a matter about me, Ashley John, but I am very worried about what is happening to Vincentian workers, right? And if we jog our memories, they had a similar situation at Buckerman, and then after this, there's another hotel that was noted in the media as doing this sort of thing to their staff, and this is happening a lot in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but people are silent about it. And people will tell
Why
you
do you think
clearly,
they are though? Why do you think they are?
they are frustrated because when you go to the labor department, nothing is being done about it. You go to the
Yes.
police, nothing is being done about it. You go to the parliamentarians, nothing is being done about it. Absolutely nothing. So they
Have
are
you gone?
frustrated.
Have you gone to the area representative of Northern Grenadines?
Yes, I did. Both of them. I spoke to the opposition leader, Dr. Godwin Friday.
Who just
I
happens to be the opposition leader.
Yes, yes. He's the
Uh,
representative. I spoke, as I
Uh-huh.
said, Carlos Williams too. I have met with him several times. I went to
And the
every
feedback from
level.
them was what was the response from?
For me, there's one legal issue that I don't want to go into on here when it comes to the opposition leaders. In all fairness to him, I don't want. There's a legal precedent there that I don't want to say any more comments on. And then the response by Mr. Carlos Williams, I must say, right? I am pleased with the efforts he has made. I must say that. He showed concern from the very beginning, and he keeps following up with me all the time as to what is happening and so on. And and I got confirmation that what he was saying was true because news travels around this island. So I get to know that yes, other people were aware and so on of what was happening and so on.
all right. Unfortunately, we are out of time this morning. First thing, I want to thank you for taking the time out to share your experience working for this company in Beckway. You mentioned that there were some others, so hopefully in time we can get to hear
Yeah, we
what
get
the
to hear
others
their side.
have to say.
Right?
All
Yes.
right. But all the very best. I hope that everything works out. I mean, it sounds really disheartening to hear you mentioning so many different things that are happening with this one company.
Definitely.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Any final? I don't know if you want to share like final message or something that you want to encourage Vincentians to do or not to do. Being a social entrepreneur and being that you are oftentimes speaking for justice.
All right, 2 things I would like to say. One, and this is to the authorities and those leaders in charge. Number one, they have a responsibility to the citizens of this country, not only by how they feel or by the office, but by our constitution to protect us in many different ways. And I don't want to break down the constitution, but this is that I am not of the opinion that they are really showing that they are for the citizens. I have worked around the world, and I can tell you this as a Vincentian, it pains me. It is embarrassing to me that Vincentians are treated the way that they are treated. And we have leaders in place, both in ministries, agencies, and in government. And you cannot get these matters dealt with according to the conventions like the ILO, the labor laws, all of these things that the court and that they have in place. They are not being enforced. And it is a disadvantage to Vince Sanctions. Apart from the fact that Vince Sanctions getting the lowest pay, one of the lowest pays across the world, right? It
Even
is a
that they
very
can't pay.
right. It is disheartening and it breaks my heart that I come back to my country so ready to help develop the country, and then people treated like that, and then me now turn around and get the same treatment. Secondly, to the Vince Sanctions now, get familiar with the law, get familiar with your constitution, with your rights. Too many Vince Sanctions just sit down and accept wrongdoings to them. Here's the thing that I don't think they understand, right? If we set a precedence to these people that they can do us as they like, they will continue to do it. And there are, I can reference like the case with Otto Sam because this is public knowledge. Otto Sam did not sit down and accept what happened to him. He took the matter before the court and he won his case. Because a lot of people believe, well, this is the government, this is the leader or the head of this, or this is the corporal, or this is the commissioner of police. It means that they can do me as they like. That is not true one bit. And in closing, I will say this, right? I was on an interview last week, and I put the question to the commissioner of police himself about the discrimination in the police force. And you know what the commissioner of police said to me? He has given me free legal advice. You know what his legal advice was? Get a lawyer, sue the corporal, sue the attorney general, and sue the commissioner of police himself. And I said to myself, if you have a commissioner of police in place that will give to me such advice to sue them, it is clear cut that my claim is 100% accurate. That is the most ridiculous advice I've ever heard coming from a leader of an organization. And that tells me the crisis that Vince Sanctions have to face. Now, let us be real here, right? I am a quote unquote learned person with experience in dealing with corporate management, civil society. If this happens to me at my level, I can only imagine what is happening to the average Vince Sanctions who has not reached this kind of level as yet. And that is why I decided to continue to speak on this issue. And I want to thank you all so much for taking it serious and for having me here this morning, right? And I hope that y'all will not stop, bringing these issues to the fore until we have a change in how to handle these matters.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. And have yourself a wonderful day.
Yeah, do have a good one.
Yeah, try to
Thank
have
all
yourself
of
a
you.
good day.
Very same to
All
you
right.
guys. And Crystal, thanks so much for your hard work.
Not a
Thank
problem.
you.
Not a problem. All right. All the best.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, yeah. How y'all feeling? Sada